You've been staring at that task for 3 hours. It would take 11 minutes to finish. You know that, and you still haven't started. That's not laziness. Lazy people don't feel guilty. You feel guilty, which means some part of your brain desperately wants to do the thing. It just won't let you. Science has known for over a decade that procrastination has almost nothing to do with time management. It's not a productivity problem. It's not a discipline problem. According to researchers at Carleton University in Canada, it's an emotion regulation problem. And once you understand that, everything changes. But here's where it gets strange. The part of your brain lighting up when you procrastinate, it's the same region that fires when you sense physical danger. Your amygdala, your threat detector, is treating your to-do list like a predator. And today, we're going to find out why. For most of the 20th century, the official position on procrastination was basically just try harder. Time management books, planners, the Pomodoro technique, all of it built on one unexamined assumption, that if you only organized your hours better, you'd do the thing. Freud thought procrastination was about fear of failure or fear of success, a psychological defense mechanism. For decades, that framing dominated. Then, in the early 2000s, researchers started putting procrastinators inside fMRI machines. What they saw blew the old model apart. Procrastinators didn't show low brain activity, they showed high activity. Specifically in the amygdala, the same region that triggers the fight or flight response. Psychologist Fuchsia Saroy at the University of Sheffield, along with Timothy Pickle at Carleton University, published research in 2013 confirming what the scans kept showing. Procrastination is the brain's attempt to escape negative emotion, not avoid a task. The task is just the trigger. The fear is the real target. You're not avoiding the report, you're avoiding the feeling the report gives you, the anxiety about doing it imperfectly, the boredom of starting, the uncertainty of not knowing how. Your brain doesn't distinguish between emotional discomfort and physical threat. To your amygdala, they feel identical. So if that's not laziness, what exactly is happening inside your head? Here's the architecture of the problem. You have two major systems pulling in opposite directions. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational, long-term planner, and your limbic system, ancient, emotional, designed for immediate survival. When a task feels threatening, the limbic system fires first. It's faster. It wins. Think of it like this. Your prefrontal cortex is the CEO of a company. Smart, visionary, but the CEO doesn't control the fire alarm. The moment the alarm goes off, everyone stops working, including the CEO. And the cruel irony? The relief you feel when you stop trying, when you open Instagram or make another coffee, is a real neurological relief. Your dopamine system rewards the escape, which is why tomorrow you'll feel just as stuck. The loop reinforces itself every single time you bail. Procrastination isn't a bug in the human brain. It's an ancient feature that outlived its usefulness. Our amygdala evolved to keep you alive on the savannah. It's extraordinarily good at detecting threats. The problem is that threat now includes giving a presentation, starting a creative project, sending a difficult email, or doing your taxes. These things won't kill you, but your nervous system doesn't know that yet. Evolution hasn't caught up with the spreadsheet. Here's something the research shows that most productivity advice completely ignores. You don't procrastinate equally on everything. Tasks that are ambiguous, personally threatening, or uncertain spike procrastination the hardest. Clear, low-stakes tasks? Almost none. Tasks with deep personal meaning, like writing your novel or starting your business? Enormous. The things you care about most are the things you delay the longest. We don't procrastinate on things that don't matter. We procrastinate on the things that do. Researcher Pickle calls this the task aversion cycle. You feel anxiety, you avoid. You feel temporary relief. The anxiety compounds because now you're behind. You feel more aversion, you avoid more. Round and round. Not because you're weak, because you're human. In 2018, a team at Ruhr University Bochum in Germany did something nobody had done before. They measured the physical structure of the brain in procrastinators versus non-procrastinators. Not activity, structure. What they found, chronic procrastinators had a measurably larger amygdala and a weaker connection between the amygdala and the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the region that translates intention into action. This isn't a mindset problem. In chronic procrastinators, the wiring is literally different. But, and this is critical, larger doesn't mean permanent. The brain is plastic. Those connections can be strengthened. The question is, how? The most effective interventions, according to current research, don't target discipline at all. They target the emotion underneath. Psychologist Michael Wohl at Carleton University found that self-compassion after procrastinating, literally forgiving yourself for having procrastinated, reduced future procrastination significantly in a controlled study. Not self-criticism, forgiveness. Your instinct to beat yourself up makes the problem worse. The science says, be kinder to yourself and you'll procrastinate less. The solution to procrastination isn't discipline, it's self-forgiveness. 3 approaches have solid research behind them. First, implementation intentions. Not, I'll work on the report, but I will open the document at 10 a.m. on Tuesday at my desk. Specificity disarms the amygdala by removing ambiguity. Second, the 2-minute rule. If it takes under 2 minutes, do it now, because starting is the hardest part and momentum is real. Third, temporal self-continuity. Asking yourself how your future self will feel if you don't do this. People who identify strongly with their future selves procrastinate significantly less, per research from UCLA. And here's a wrinkle nobody's talking about yet. AI productivity tools, task managers, reminder systems, AI assistants that break projects into steps may actually be addressing the exact neurological mechanism behind procrastination. By reducing ambiguity and lowering the activation energy of starting, they could be functioning as external prefrontal cortexes, scaffolding for the part of your brain that keeps losing to the fire alarm. Whether that's a crutch or a cure is honestly still an open question. The stakes here are real. Studies link chronic procrastination to higher rates of stress, lower income, worse cardiovascular health, and poorer immune function. Fuchsia Soroy's research specifically found that procrastinators report significantly higher rates of hypertension and cardiovascular disease. The emotional avoidance that feels protective in the moment is, over a lifetime, quietly costly. This is not a quirky personality trait. For some people, it is a genuinely debilitating pattern with measurable health consequences. Here's what the neuroscience is really telling us when you step back far enough. Procrastination is, at its core, a story about time and identity. Your brain treats your future self as a stranger, someone you don't fully feel responsible for. Research from UCLA by Hal Hirschfield showed that people's neural responses to their future selves look almost identical to their responses to a stranger. You're not robbing yourself when you procrastinate. Your brain thinks you're robbing someone you haven't met. The task you're avoiding right now isn't the enemy. The emotion underneath it is just your ancient brain trying to protect you from a threat that doesn't exist. Once you can see that, clearly, without judgment, the fire alarm loses a little of its power. And in that gap, something remarkable becomes possible. You can choose. The most profound act of self-respect isn't productivity. It's learning to recognize your own fear and starting anyway. If this changed how you see your own mind, wait until you see what we're covering next, the neuroscience of motivation, and why wanting something badly enough might actually make you less likely to achieve it. It goes even deeper.